Shalom, everybody. This is David from Universal Truth of Mankind. I am your host, and this is Kabbalah 101. Today, we're going to talk about the subject of Ein Sof. I recommend that you follow through the whole thing. Try not to cut it short so you get a better understanding of what this is about. But before we start, I want to let you know that, again, I'm getting a lot of good positive feedback from people. And I'm very happy with developments that are starting to take place with Universal Truth of Mankind. I want to let you know again, I am on YouTube, I am on Rumble. Take a look down below. You will see links in the description for both. Please subscribe to both because I am finding I'm sometimes having issues with YouTube. Sometimes I have trouble with Rumble. So I post the videos on both. Therefore, they're accessible at least in two different locations. Also, please peruse through those playlists that I have listed down below as well. I'm going to be adding a new one very soon. I'm not going to say what it is quite yet because I'm not quite sure when I'm going to do that. And I may be doing a second one. But again, I will keep you posted on those things. But I will post at least one video per day. I may have to go up to sometimes two videos per day. We'll see what happens here. So let's talk about Ein Sof. Here's a neat graphic for Ein Sof. I discovered this many years ago, and it really is a fantastic illustration of what we're talking about. It will help you understand creation a lot better as well. So you will notice that there's Hebrew characters, Hebrew words outside of that white layered circle. And the Hebrew says Ein Sof. Now, what is Ein Sof? Okay. I've seen a lot of discussions on Ein Sof, but they're lacking because people really don't understand what's being talked about. That's okay. That's normal. And I'm here to add to what they're saying, not detract from them, but to add to help clarify the understanding what's being talked about. Now, we all know that we like to say God is, okay? God is this, God is that. God is sovereign. Good example. We get that, but sometimes we have to describe things in a negative. Not negative in a sense of detracting, but to help us better understand what we're actually talking about. So we will say God is not a man. God is not anything within creation. In other words, we can't have an image of a fish. We can't have an image of a man. We can't have an image of, I don't know, a single-celled creature. God is none of that. Doesn't mean God is not within all these things, but it helps us to better understand. And we also like to contrast. For example, how do you know what hot is if you never experienced cold? How do you know what cold is if you've never experienced hot? How do you know what light is if you never experienced darkness? How do you know what darkness is if we never experienced light? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg type of a thing? We have to have these contrasts within our lives to better understand what's going on. And this is what's interesting about Ein Sof. Ein Sof means nothing, everything. Now that immediately throws your brain into a short circuit. It should. You should be saying, wait, everything and nothing? Wait a minute. How can it be that? That's the point of those two words. It's to tell you that at this point, stop trying to understand. You're approaching the essence of the creator. And that's not for us to figure out. It's not for us to know. You stop. We can understand things below that, but not above that. So that is the stopping point. We see in Genesis 1:1 where it says, in the beginning, Bereshit, the first character is a bait, and that bait is enlarged. And the idea is anything before the bait, we don't try to understand. So Ein Sof is at that point of going beyond that bait or before the bait. I hope that gives you a better understanding. Now, I'm not done yet. So, how do we understand what's going on here? Is there a little bit more we can take from this other than we shouldn't go beyond? I mean, what does this tell us about below Ein Sof? Okay, that's a good question. Ein Sof is everything or nothing and everything, as we already stated. So creation was birthed into existence. And I talk about male and female, that the two have to be one in order to create the balance, in order to create creation. Because if you don't have both, you don't have procreating, you don't have replication, you don't have the ability to create multiple copies of itself. So, Ein Sof, nothing, everything. So what Ein Sof did was create a void within itself, like these concentric circles. It created a dark space, an abyss. It created a circle, like a woman who is pregnant will create and vacate a space in her uterus for a child. So you could picture this as a uterus that is growing and expanding to accept creation within it. Now, that created darkness. But then we know on the first day, God said, let there be light. So now he put light into creation. And if you take a good close look at this circle or these concentric circles, on the top position down, you will see a white line starting and going through each of the black lines all the way until you get to the center. The center is black, but there's a white circle around that, and you will see that line. Ein Sof impregnated itself, so to speak, because it's acting like a mother. It's acting like a father. You see what's happening here? And so it has impregnated the void within itself for creation to exist. And you see there's 10 concentric circles, which represents the tree of life, which is another story in itself. So that's what this picture is of. So when you think of Ein Sof, look at this picture and go, I get it. I understand now what's happening. I hope this helps you to better understand the whole idea of what Ein Sof is. Thank you and have a great day.